Welcome to Two Gals in a Glass Half Full. We are Dr. Jess and Dr. Bobby, two physical therapists just trying to live healthy most of the time and seeing our personal glasses as half full. Sometimes that is much harder than others. So, we like to interview others more knowledgeable than us to share information about things we do not know. But on occasions, you get stuck with just Dr. Jess and I sharing our information and knowledge. And today is one of those days.
Absolutely.
So, um, yes, before we get started, Dr. Jess, because I am really excited about December and the topic of gifts and holidays and things like that. So, before we get started, what is in your glass today?
Well, I've already had a bunch of water and it's kind of middle of the day. So I've got a little cup of coffee with some half and half in it to get me through the afternoon. Dr. Bobby, what's
Get
in
you
your
through
glass?
all that extra. I've actually been doing really good on my water. So I am enjoying a strawberry lemonade.
Oh, there we go.
Just something a little sweet, not carbonated. Just a little something different than water.
Absolutely. I get that. So today, since we are preparing for the holidays, we want to talk about how to intentionally prepare for the holidays. So bringing that mindfulness practice into gift giving is something that can make it a lot more fun and ideally meaningful when you're giving gifts to individuals in your family. And so using our knowledge of relationships that we talked about last month and love languages, and then just, all of the intentional mindfulness that we've been talking about this last year, we're trying to culminate that into preparation for Christmas. So each topic we're going to be going through is just trying to think about that individual in your life and what is it that they might be interested in, into something that that they might not want to buy for themselves. And so where we're going to start is with that person in your life that is likes to be active. They really enjoy fitness and it's something that brings them joy. And so if that's a person in your life that you're wanting to buy a gift for, then we've got a bunch of ideas here that you might find helpful. So Dr. Barbie, what do you have pulled up here?
So first I have, so the brand name would be, they're like the brand name most people know is called TRX, but these are suspension trainers. Here we have one picked out. Your TRX is going to run anywhere from like 140 to 200, $300. So we have one that's a little bit more reasonable here that is just as good. It just doesn't have that name brand on it. And I know I use these a lot when I'm working out. And Dr. Jess, I know you use these a lot for you and the trainer, or not trainer, for you and when you're working with patients. So tell me some of your favorite things about a TRX.
Yeah, so I use this in the clinic all the time and I use it for myself personally. So the great thing about TRX is that you're getting weight on your legs to do strengthening, but then you can use it for upper body, you can use it for core, and it's something that you can use for high level activity, but then you can also use it for just getting started into exercise. And so it's a great way to be able to like I said, safely get weight on your feet, not feel like you're going to fall. You've got you've got something to hold on to, but it is a little bit unstable. And so that's the whole idea, is that if we can create some instability, then your body's going to have to work to stabilize and you'll get more muscles that will engage that way. And the other cool thing is that you can pack it up and put in a suitcase, which is great because then when you travel, as long as you have like a door frame to like throw it over, then it's really like the only tool you need and you can get a full body workout while you're on the road. And then what's that, Dr. Bobby? I saw you kind of pointed something out.
Yeah, so I was looking at here. So it comes with, if you see over here, this is something that you can put in your doorway. But if you want it to be a little bit more stable on a wall, some come with it, some do not. This one does. So this is a wall mount, and you'll see that it has some of the concrete. There's concrete ones. You can kind of look. I have pulled up here, over here. You'll see this X along with, there are other types of screws depending on the surface that you're going to be mounting it on. So you can put it in your doorway and use it as a travel. You can also mount it to the wall where it's a little bit more permanent, just whatever is best suits your needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, just mount that into
I think,
something like an actual like a beam, or something stable, because you will have body
yes.
weight. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And you have a good amount of body weight. So make sure
Yeah.
someone that kind of understands all of that is putting that up for you if it's not you.
Right. Right. Right.
And so moving down, we have these, they're fabric elastic bands. These are great. You can use them for your hips, your arms, your glutes. There's so much you can do with them. And being fabric, they don't tend to roll
Right.
like the kind of the more like latex ones. Also, not having latex is great for those that have latex allergies.
Yeah, and for guys, this is great because those latexy ones, they tend to get stuck in their leg hairs when they're pulling them on. And so these ones are great for that because it's you can kind of pull them and slide them up. Like for that glute exercise that the guy was demonstrating, it's great. And it's more comfortable against your skin, I think, as well.
Mhm.
So same thing, they
So
they
this
fit in a suitcase just fine. So they're great to travel with as well.
and the different colors have different resistance. So you can see
Mhm.
there, you can start with a 15 and it goes all the way up to 65. There's different colors that if you would like, you don't have to do the green ones. If you're a girl and you want the pink ones, go for it. Or if you're a guy and you want the pink ones, whoever, if you want different colors, you have your choices there.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, moving on. So this is kind of like just a little fitness package. So one thing that I think is important just with working out is water. What do you think?
Yeah, staying hydrated, that's kind of a thing, right? And if we want to also be like sustainable with the packaging that we're choosing, so choosing a glass bottle is awesome because one, it's reusable, two, it's glass, so you're getting away from plastics. Like they do have a plastic lid on this, but then the rest of it isn't plastic. And then using that silicone sleeve just helps to protect the glass. So if it does tip over, no big deal. And we chose this one because see how it has like the silicone's labeled for the amount of milliliters. So it gives you a visual for like how well you're doing with getting that fluid intake in. So this is one of my favorite glass bottles for water.
And one thing we forgot to mention is everyone, we will have like all these lists and links and everything for you that we may even add a few more tips down the road. So these will all be available where you can just click on it and it will take you right to Amazon or right to the store, wherever it's from, and you can just order it from there, which
Yeah,
is nice, especially as we do last minute. It's always nice to just be able to go on the computer and kind of shop through there.
absolutely. Yeah. And so if your person in your life is into fitness, socks, especially if they like running, are a thing. It's it really is. Because if you have a sock that's too thick, then it kind of gets irritated in your shoe. A sock that like if it doesn't like it's a whole like a wicking thing because you don't want your feet to get sweaty in the shoe. And so this brand Allbirds has some really great performance socks, but then the company themselves, it's all sustainably produced clothing and socks, all of what they use to produce their products. It's sustainable, which is great. There's other things in there in this site as well. They've got some shoes and things like that. Shoes are hard to give to somebody because of the fit. What kind of foot do they have? Is it pronated, supinated? But socks are easy. So that's a much easier gift that you could give. So that's why we chose this one for like the fitness individual.
All right. And then, so moving, so socks do make a big difference. It's
Yes,
crazy.
it's a
Different,
thing.
like, and there's like, yeah, there's like
Yeah.
warm socks for like winter and everything. So
Mhm.
now I have not personally used this. I know Dr. Jess has used it a ton and loves it.
Mhm.
I can't wait to try it. So you get to tell us all about this, Dr. Jess.
Yeah. So when I was starting my clinic, I was, very much on a budget for getting everything that I needed for the clinic. And kettlebells are so expensive. And I love kettlebells. I love how you can strengthen with kettlebells. And so I found this handle, which is great. So now if you just have a weight set, then you can turn any weight into a kettlebell. So now you don't have to have a weight set and a kettlebell set. You can have a weight set and then one kettlebell handle. And that way you can change up how you're working out. And it's really quick and simple and it works great. So I've been loving it. We've got two in the clinic. So yeah.
I love kettlebells as well. So, and it is crazy how expensive dumbbells and kettlebells can be.
Mm-hmm.
So it is nice how you can just buy the dumbbells and then it will be used as a kettlebell as well.
Yep. Yeah, a little 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our last one that we recommend is a light, especially for those runners. And I don't know about you, Jess, but up here in Chicago, it's like 4:30 and it's dark. It's dark when you go into work. It's dark when you come out of work.
Right. Yeah. And this is a safety thing as well. So, like I've got like I've tried one like this with the light that comes off because the thing is it's dark and as a runner you want to be lit up for you, but the other thing is you need the ground in front of you to be lit up because otherwise you can like actually like stumble and fall and have like a significant injury. And so this vest is reflective, so you're lit up, but then at the same time, you've got this light that you can shine down on the ground so you can see where your feet are contacting the ground, especially if it's somewhere where there's not good, street lights. So it's a good 2 for 1 with this vest. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we have as of now for all of your fitness. Those people that love to work out or want to start, maybe they don't know where to start, and these would be great products to help them, start their routine and get them, help them with motivation and all that stuff. Because who doesn't love a new pair of socks or a new water bottle or.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. If you're like someone that's, like wanting to be active, like giving them a gift that encourages them to like continue what they enjoy, it's a great way because you like if you spend money on somebody, you really want to make sure that it's meaningful. Like the worst thing, I hate when I have to spend money and I feel like it's just for nothing. Like this person's not going to like this anyway. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It just makes the whole gift giving thing just feel not super meaningful. And so the whole
Mhm.
purpose of this episode is to really say like, okay, let's think about what could this person be interested in? And then what are some, potential gifts that could be helpful that they might not even think to ask for themselves. I didn't actually think about the vest that I have, but my husband gave it to me for Christmas, and because I just would wear a reflective vest, and so he was the one that thought about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. So like things like
Yeah.
that can be just meaningful, which is great. Something little. It doesn't have to be super expensive.
And before we move on, I think that's like a good thing we were talking, I know you, Dr. Jess, you and I were talking about is just the whole process of gift giving. And not everyone loves giving gifts because they feel like they don't know what to give. And so sometimes if people ask like, hey, what are you interested in? Or what would you like? Or, they ask for some ideas, don't be scared to give it to them because they want to give you something meaningful. They want to give you something that you want, but they may just not know. And a lot of times we're like, oh, just whatever you want, or you don't have to get me anything. They're most likely going to buy you something. So
Mhm.
allow them to not waste their money and get you something that's you want or that you will use or that you need.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All
All
right.
right,
Now we're
moving
going to jump
on.
into a new category. Mhm.
So this is for all of those people that love the kitchen, that love cooking. Um, and I don't know if you have ever tried a sous vide, but if you haven't, my brother has one and he has made us some amazing steaks, some brats and chicken and stuff in there. So it is so cool. Dr. Jess, have you ever had eaten from, I know you don't have one, but have you ever had food from one?
So one of our friends has one and they made us fish in it and it was really good. Like really, really good. I don't know why we haven't bought one yet. It's just one of those things like, you kind of get into like different habits of how you cook. And
Yes.
I do think this is something that we'll be looking into because it doesn't take up a lot of space in the kitchen. Like I don't like things that take up too much space because I feel like it just the things that are bulky, you end up never bringing them out because they're just too
Yeah.
bulky. Yeah. But the cool
So
thing
for those
is
of
the
you
oil,
like,
you can cook really healthy proteins and you're not having to like coat it in a ton of oil and you're not stripping the protein from or the oils from the protein where you're having to add a lot more oils.
Mhm.
So it really produces a very moist protein, which is great.
And I was about to say, so for those of you, when my brother asked for a sous vide and got it, I was like, what the heck is a sous vide?
Uh,
Like, how does it even work? And so for those of you that don't know, you can attach it to like a pot like here, or you can attach it. They also have, if I click over here, there's like a container that you will see that it goes in. But basically what it is the sous vide, the electronic that piece that you see here is heating up water, but your food's not sitting in the water. You're putting the water in, or the food in a bag, and it's getting cooked almost from the warm water around it, but you're not losing any of the flavor. You're not losing any of the, I want to say liquid. What is it? Like the moisture in whatever you're cooking.
And you can really control your temperature because the temperature reads on that handle, that the sous vide handle, it's reading out the exact temperature of the water. So you have really good control over what the environment is that you're cooking in. So it allows you to be a lot more precise as well. If I cooked more, I probably would have it. But,
yeah. I was gonna say, and from like my brother and from the research I did just for this, most of them say get the Wi-Fi one because it connects to your phone. So like you can change temperatures from your phone, just kind of makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
And so for those of you that are starting out with a sous vide, I think something important is a cookbook for that. So we have 2 different cookbooks here. This first one is just kind of for everybody. It's kind of that easy, foolproof how to do it. And then the second one is very similar. This is the one that we have at my house, as well as just another one that has different recipes and things in it from like that. And what's nice is you can actually, on both of these, look inside. So when you click on it on Amazon, you can actually see what is inside the book a little bit and gives you an idea of what recipes. So that way you kind of pick which one you think would be better, and you're going to see how to even do it and all of that for you.
Yeah. So if somebody were to gift me a sous vide, having the cookbook right there alongside of it would be like, thank you so much. Now I feel like I can like start right away with using it.
And the good thing with both of them, I already clicked out of the other one, but it was not not too bad for a cookbook, $20, which 23, this one's 23, 24. I think the other one was around the same price, maybe a little bit cheaper. So moving on.
Yeah. So for the person in the kitchen, trying to get away from coated pans, for cooking is going to be, again, like trying to switch out maybe an entire cooking set is pretty expensive. So maybe helping them switch out a little bit at a time would be a good way to kind of help somebody that's wanting to switch to stainless steel or, anything that's not coated. So that's, just an idea.
Cast iron.
Cast iron is another really good idea. It can be a little bit more expensive, and so it just kind of depends on the individual and what their goals are. If they're trying to switch their pots and pans out, maybe having like hey, like what would be like the one that you would like use the most. So like we have a big wok, and I love our wok. But other people might not want to use a wok. They might want like a frying pan or a certain size pot. So that's something that might be a little bit of a conversation, might not be an exact surprise unless you like have been in their house and they've mentioned it. So yeah.
I was gonna say, I know stainless steel and cast iron are the like 2 that are best for like just trying to reduce toxins in your home and things like that. The one thing I do feel like with the cast iron, which I like, but for a lot of people, it's pretty, not only is it a little bit more expensive, but it's pretty heavy.
It is heavy.
So it itself is heavy. And then if you're adding food, so, I mean, for someone younger, it may not be a problem, but if you're looking for like a parent or a grandparent that is older, I think finding a lighter version would be a little bit better. I hear my mom and my neighbor, complain about the weight of some of the plates and pots and pans and how it's getting harder for their hands to even hold it just from arthritis and stuff.
Yeah. So everyone's a little bit different, but going stainless steel is going to be like a mostly inexpensive way to start to make that transition. Yeah.
All right, Jess, tell us about the spoon.
Right. So this spoon is really cool. Now it's got this like little handle on it that helps the spoon itself not touch the counter. So you know how like annoying that is when like you're stirring and then you want to put the spoon down, but you don't have a good place to put it down, and you've got a bunch of things going on the stove. So this one, when you put it down on the counter, it won't actually touch it. So that's huge. And then it's silicone, so that's nice. And the inside of the cup is a bit of a measuring. It's got measuring lines on it. So you can use it for like a bunch of different things, which is great. It won't tear up your pots and pans. And it's just like, it's a cool little thing. It's just like one of those little gadgety things that someone might not even know about or think to buy for themselves. So this is one that you could definitely do as like a little surprise gift.
And I feel like at the price point, it could be a great stocking stuffer too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's $10, you know? Yeah, who wouldn't, I mean, who wouldn't be like, oh, this is cool. Even somebody that literally just cooks, like heats up pasta sauce, you know, could use it. You know, it doesn't have to be for like an advanced, you know, anybody that does a lot of advanced stuff in the kitchen. I don't do a lot of advanced stuff. A middle of the road technical level.
Very cool little spoon though. I might have to add that to my Christmas list. So here is a Chef. It's a smart wireless meat thermometer, which is cool because you can put it in your meat and then you can kind of track by your phone. So you don't have to keep opening the oven, which, you know, is not energy consuming because you open the oven, you let it heat out, it has to heat back up, all of that type stuff. We also have one that's really cool for our grill, which is nice. And it kind of tells you the temperature and if it's medium rare, like how you want to do it.
Yeah. You can use it for
what are your thoughts, Jess?
Well. Yeah, like if you're trying to bake and you're trying to get the internal temperature of whatever it is that you're going for, like a loaf of bread or something like that, it'll notify you when internal temperature is the amount that you want, because then if you really want to get that crust on the bread, you're going to want to like not overcook the inside. So there's like a balancing act that you have to do with baking. And so the digital thermometer is a great way to, again, not lose all your heat in the oven by constantly checking on it. So it's just, you know, a cool little thing. I mean, it is a little bit on the higher price point because of, you know, the technology that's built into it. So we're trying to include things that are like kind of a little bit less middle of the road, a little bit higher. This one's about $100. And so, you know, it just kind of depends on that individual that you're gift giving to, and then budgeting.
I was gonna say, and as of the time of this recording, it's a $130 on sale for $100, and there's a $20 coupon. So sometimes if you kind of keep an eye on that, like it helps with the price point.
Yep.
Our last one for the kitchen is a glass carafe.
They're just pretty.
It's actually really pretty.
It is. I mean, you could have like someone over for dinner and like, you know, pour them a glass of water, or you can have, you know, put, you know, like a little bit of stuff in it, whether it's like fresh lemon, lime, you know, cucumber, and it just like looks cool. I don't know. I like it.
And I like the stainless steel. I like, you know, trying to minimize the plastic in our world. So stainless steel and silicone.
Yep. Yeah, and the silicone helps so when you're pouring that your hand doesn't slip. You know, because that's the thing with all glass sometimes is that it does get a little slippery when wet. So so yeah, I like the, you know, I like the design of it. I like that it's, you know, it's glass. It's just kind of fun.
We have two different sizes there.
Yeah, more the pitcher versus
whatever. Yep, whatever fits your family's needs.
Yeah.
So moving from the cooker or the kitchen lover to Jess, I know this is one of both of our big hobbies. I have been missing it this past year and can't wait for next year. But gardening. So this is for someone that is a gardener, loves to be outside, working outside on their plants. Tell us about this little mini saw.
So this thing is awesome. Yeah, I had a chance of, it was one of my friends told me about it when we were over at her house doing some work, and we like hit this like little stumbling block with this like little twig tree that was in the way, and it was kind of messing everything up. And so she was like, hold on. And she grabbed this little thing that she had, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So it's like a handheld chainsaw. So you don't have to have this like big old chainsaw that's like hard to maneuver and gas, and you have to like pull the thing to start it, or it's like just too much work. I'm really not going to do that. So this though is small, battery powered, handheld. So it's like if you're trying to like, trim some like was like branches off of like a little tree, or trying to clean things up in your yard, but you don't really want to like get a hacksaw out and it's more than what clippers will do. It's kind of like that in between. This thing is great, and I'd say I don't know if like most people would even think to buy it for themselves. I mean they may already have it, but it was like I was kind of blown away when I saw it. I was like, this is great. You wouldn't use it necessarily all the time, but when you need it, it's like you'll be so happy you have it.
Makes life just a little bit easier sometimes.
And you feel powerful.
And what?
You feel powerful. You're like, I've got my handheld chainsaw. Back up.
Yes. I mean, if you look in the pictures, it looks like it's very reasonably like sized, it's going to do the job, but you can hold it in your hand. So, all right. To the next one. So pruning shears, which I think all of us use all the time outside, and they do get dull after a while.
They do.
So,
yeah. And these ones are nice because they're super, like the ends are really pointy and thin. So the ones that are too thick, sometimes when you're trying to get into a small area, it gets all stuck. Like these ones, you can get into a really tight little area and they work great. Yeah, these are the ones
I was gonna say, and sometimes it's nice, if you have different, so we have a front yard, backyard, and a lot of times in the summer we'll keep some tools in the back where it's a little bit easier. So it's nice sometimes to have more than one pair, just so A, if multiple people are working, but B, you're not, in our case, it's not terrible. It's not hard to go from our front yard to backyard, but it's also not the easiest with everything. So it's just nice to have one in the back for a quick little snip and then one in the front.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have much more than one.
Yeah. Sometimes they just go dull after a while, because I'll be honest, I'm not going to include you in this. I'll be honest. Sometimes I try to cut things that are a little too big, that maybe aren't meant, and you're sitting there going for it. Hey, that chainsaw would probably be perfect for that.
That's what I'm saying. See?
So looking at this apron,
I would say for the gardener, these are great.
Yeah. And I like how you can keep all the little tools right there. Like you're not running back and forth.
Yeah. Or trying to like, you put everything down somewhere, but then like you need it somewhere else. I started using one of these this past summer, and I keep like, little things where you tie up, like when you're vining plants, the little twisty things, So I keep the twisty things in there. I keep my pruners in there. I've got my gloves in there. I've got like all of my little things that I need all the time. And then that way, and I just hang it up. And then when I need it again, I put it on. I check to make sure I have most of what I need, and then I go. So I'm not like looking for all of my tools. What do I need? Where did I put it down? Now I can't find it. Did a kid pick up something sharp? I hope not, so like.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's nice is sometimes, like, how many times have you used something, you put it down, you're moving on, you're like, where did it go? Where did I leave it?
All the time.
And you're searching through the beds trying to find like where you left the tool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So one thing Jess and I love to do is like start planting from seeds, because we find it cheaper. We can control the type of seeds that we're buying. We can also control the dirt and just kind of the whole process of how the tree grows, or not tree, but the vegetable plant, whatever type of plant you're growing, how it can grow, and the use of organic and lack of pesticides and things like that. So just tell us a little bit about Baker's Creek.
So this is where I've been getting all of my seeds from this past year, and it's great because you get to grow things that are different than what you can get for starter plants at like a big box store or a local nursery. So that's fun. So you can really like test out all sorts of different fun things. So they've got flowers, vegetables. There's like a ton of different things that you can order, and it just allows you to kind of like expand that like I don't know, why not try this like random type of pepper or tomato or whatever it might be? And on there, on the packets, it kind of tells you like the best temperatures to grow in, like the time of year. So you can really be pretty good about making sure you're starting the right plants in the right season. And the other thing is like when I use these seeds for my starters, I mean, I've never had a batch not germinate. So like I've
Oh,
sometimes when you get seeds, like I think I don't know, but some packets I've bought before, it's like I don't think anything's really taken off. But with these, I get everything takes off. So yeah,
that's
I've got
awesome.
like right now I've got beans going, I've got I have a bunch of these actually I have going right now. I've got a bunch of greens going right now. I've got carrots. I'm trying to think what else I have. Broccoli, cauliflower. Yeah, a lot of different kinds of greens really.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've started all from seed, so
That's
and it's
awesome.
all taken off great. Parsnips, like a bunch of different types of carrots, a bunch of different types of like parsnips, just to like again like just why not like test it out, it's kind of fun. Something we do with the kids as well, so that's really it's interactive with them. um yeah, super fun.
Awesome.
who,
Awesome.
who wants an
I
orange carrot
love
when you
it.
have a purple carrot, right?
Right? Like, look at this
Yeah,
yellow
yeah,
amarillo.
yeah, exactly. So like it's just fun, and like with the kids are like purple carrots are way more fun to eat, in case you're wondering. Like at least in our
There's a
house they're
red
more.
one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've got all of these
But
going.
yeah,
I can't speak to
that's
the
awesome.
carrots. Like I don't always have the best luck with long carrots. Last year
Mhm.
I got some, and it's just we're a little bit too warm in Florida. I don't think we get enough cold time, so I started everything a little bit sooner to try and take advantage of like the cold snap that we just had. Whereas like last year I started a little bit later, so I'm hoping that'll give me like more time to get the carrots a little bit bigger. So we'll see. I'll report back later.
I did carrots like 2 years ago and I had some good luck with them. So I really like them.
Yeah. And
I
you're
really
colder up
enjoy
there.
it.
Yeah. So the carrots really do like that snap of cold.
Yeah.
So
I can't grow anything right now unless I grow inside. And then I feel like sometimes I feel like the quality, like I can grow stuff inside and we have a grow light and stuff, which is
yeah,
how we start when it's still freezing outside. That's how we start everything. But I just feel like the plant itself is not as strong as if like you transplant it out into the like outdoors where the wind and everything is hitting it. So they learn to build. It's just different inside.
it is. Yeah. No, you're right.
All right. And last but not least is so I have wanted one of these, but my living in a suburb up here, everyone's like, no, they stink, they smell. But I've heard there's some really good ones that don't.
Mine does not.
So, and I know you have
No,
one and it does not. So
no.
tell us a little bit about this.
So I love compost bins because you've got so much like waste that we really don't need to put into the landfill if we can put it into the compost bin, because that's what's going to feed your garden the next season. So this is cool because this one has dual chamber. So meaning you're getting like, because the thing with compost is like once it's like one's like kind of ready to go and it's full, you want to like keep turning it, and then you want to have another one that's starting for like the next phase. So you don't like, it's really nice to be able to have two, but that don't take up a ton of space. So this one's great because you can have like one that you're like filling once it's full, then keep turning it and then start filling the next one. So now when you're ready with that one that's full, you can use that for the garden while you're still filling the other one. So it kind of gives you pretty continual compost. You can also put yard waste in here. You just don't want to put weeds, because you put like weeds in there, then the weeds could start to grow in your garden. So, but leaves, like grass cuttings, things like that, you can put into there. Food scraps, eggshells. In Florida, we don't put fruit peels in there, because that can attract bugs, and so we don't do fruit. But any other scrap that's organic, edible scrap, then we put it all in the compost, and then it keeps feeding my garden. The compost keeps my garden nice and happy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're gonna throw it away
And like,
anyway,
how
so
often
why
do
buy
you,
compost?
right,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. How often do you have to turn it?
I turn it every time I put something in. Yeah. Yeah. So like
Or does that
if
just
we
help?
it keeps it aerated. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so and it's really easy, we just have it right out, right out the back on our patio. So like my son helps, he knows, hey, we go throw that in the compost bin and he can turn it. So um yeah, super easy.
Now, do you have to put any like worms or anything inside of it?
This kind you do not need worms for. You do want to have some sort of material in there to help the food scraps not all get stuck together and start to maybe like decompose too quick. So you can use like leaves from if you have a bunch of dropped leaves, that's great because that'll help with the food scraps not getting too moist in there. You can also, if you don't have anything like that, you can use horse pellets. Like if you go to a Tractor Supply store and there's horse pellets for like they put down where like in horse stalls, you can put those in there and that'll help it when it's turning. It'll kind of help keep everything aerated and not like grow mold or anything. So ours goes
Oh,
straight through the summer in Florida and I have no problem with it. It never stinks.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, I believe this is one last one before we get to like kind of just ideas for men's and females separately. All of these are for just anyone.
Mhm.
So looking at a reader in your life, there's some people that just love to read. It's their downtime, it's their relaxing time, it's their me time. And so we have a bunch of books that we are recommending, but we're going to start with this little lighter. And I have this actual lighter and I love it. Just sits around your neck. It's not heavy. It doesn't feel, I don't do well when things are tight around my neck. I feel like I'm choking. This is great. So it has, you'll see two lights, one on each side. You don't have to put both of them on, but you can. And then you're going to see there's 3 different modes and brightness levels. So you can have like a yellow, a warm, or a cool, depending on what type of light you want, and then the brightness that goes with that. And I like it because it's rechargeable. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to get AA, AAA batteries. And I also like it because sometimes it's just easy to position, I would say. And I don't have to reach to turn off a light. I don't have to get up. I can just take it up and lay it down and head to bed.
Yeah. Perfect. I like it.
All right. So now we're going to go into a few different books, and we kind of picked different books from different titles or different themes with it. So Dr. Jess, the first book we have here is called The Measure by Nikki. And I am going to apologize ahead of time if I say any of these names wrong. Reading was never my strong point. I love to read, but being able to pronounce out loud proper names and proper words is not my strong point. So I'm going to say sorry for anything ahead. But this is a New York Times bestseller, and it's very thought-provoking. It is a book that kind of talks about what might happen if everyone knew they were going to die.
Yeah.
So very interesting, and I think would bring up a lot of different conversations, different thoughts.
Yeah. And all of these books were recommended to us. So if we have not read them ourselves, they're recommended to us from individuals that are avid readers and did truly enjoy the book. And so it's just kind of again, just something that if you know this person is really into reading and is always wanting to like that next book to look into, understanding what they might like in a book is also kind of helpful. So whether they like nonfiction versus fiction. So we've got a bunch of different options on here, like memoirs. So it's a bit of a breadth in the books that we've chosen.
And The Measure is a literary fiction one. So
yeah.
The next 2 are historical fiction. So the first is The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. And Dr. Jess, do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, this one's by Ellen Marie Wiseman, and it's a haunting and disturbing story of the deplorable state of real-life state institution for physical and mentally handicapped children in the 1970s. And it's told through the eyes of a 16-year-old female protagonist. So if you want something that's like a little bit darker, but then, does still have some history to it, this would be a good recommendation.
And then the second historical fiction is called The Magnificent Lives of Marjorie Post. So this story is based off a real life person, Marjorie Post. And it covers how I believe it's real life. I just said that. Now I'm trying to, yes,
Yes.
it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is. So it's the author. So it's by Alison Pataki, and the author, it's her newest novel and her sixth work in historical fiction. So it covers Marjorie Post's youth in Battle Creek, Michigan, and then she moves to New York to become one of the richest women in the world. So this book goes through the many different lives that she lived. She lived to be 87, and it just kind of follows her story.
Yeah.
And then Jess, this one is this one is just for fun. This is a just fun women's fiction. So Jess, tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah. So this one is called Lessons in Chemistry, and it follows a single mother, Elizabeth Zott, who's a brilliant chemist in a man's world in the 1960s in America. So it's a fun book, and it follows the story of her becoming an unlikely cooking show host and the role model her daughter deserves. So it's more of that like female empowerment kind of book. So it's just, something that for that female that, likes to kind of push boundaries a little bit. Maybe this would be something for her.
This next book I actually have, The Art of Racing in the Rain. And it's a New York Times bestseller, and it's a heart-wrenching but deeply funny and ultimately uplifting story about family, love, loyalty, and hope. And it's a captivating look at like the wonders and absurdity. I can't say that word for the life of me. Absurdities.
Absurdities.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's got it. Of human life, but it's given as only a dog could tell it. So it's through the eyes of the dog, which is funny and but also it's a great book. Really
again, for that person that you don't really know what to get, but they love their dog, then this might be like a great option for them.
It's a good one. So this next one I actually has started to read, but have not fully read it yet. And it is one that I really enjoyed what I've started so far.
It's called Educated, and it's a memoir, and it's by Tara Westover, and it's also New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Boston Globe bestseller. So this one like hits some check boxes for people liking it. So it's an unforgettable memoir about a young woman who kept out of school, leaves her survivalist family, and goes on to earn a PhD from Cambridge University. So she was 17 the first time she ever stepped foot in a classroom. She went from Harvard to Cambridge, but after receiving her education, she wondered if she traveled too far and if there's still a way home. So that might be, that's a good kind of, male, female, again, memoir. So that's more my style as well.
So our next one is a nonfiction. It's called Killers of the Flower Moon. It's a national bestseller, and it's a twisting but haunting true murder mystery about one of the most monstrous crimes in American history. It does take place this happened in the 1920s in Oklahoma. And I may say the name of this, I believe it is Osage.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I am not sure of the name. I have a feeling it's some tribe, but basically,
it is.
It is. Yeah, you're right. A nation. So basically, this nation was kind of the richest people in the world at the time in the 1920s, and during that time, we found that oil lived beneath the ground they lived on. And so when this was found, this nation started one by one getting killed. And so it looks at the then it was new FBI and how they began to expose one of the most chilling conspiracies in American history.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting nonfiction stuff if people are into that.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one, Dr. Jess.
Yeah. So this is a self-improvement book. And so it's called Humankind, Changing the World One Small Act at a Time. And so this is also Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. And it's filled with true stories about how one small deed can make a world of difference. And so that's a big part of what we talk about in the podcast, right? So like just making small changes and how that can over time lead to bigger results. And so that's kind of similar. This is another reason why we really like this one. And so the author writes about how his life changed in an instant when his wife was like diagnosed with leukemia. And it follows their family's recovery. And the author began writing about the people who rescued his family from the dark time that was, oftentimes it was just the smallest of gestures. And so he went above and beyond his own story and sought out similar stories to share in this book of his. And so it's a uplifting, life-affirming kind of book. And again, it's just like not realizing that one random act of kindness, that one little thing, how much impact that can have on somebody else, and turning that into a little bit of a mindset thing.
So those are what we have for like books or the reader.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on, we are going to move on to like for a female. So this is a female specific. I mean, it doesn't have to be candles, can be guys too. But this is more kind of we're thinking that self-care type package, the beauty products, the kind of that me time to relax, maybe your mindful time.
Mm-hmm.
And so with these, this is a great company, Sea Love. They are out of Maine and they use all natural waxes. So it is toxin free, and it's also it's really cool. A lot of people with candles, they have trouble with like smoke and stuff. And so the person that her name's Stacy, Barry and Stacy Miller, they're the owners, husband and wife. And Stacy had asthma. And so she wanted to create a candle that she could enjoy, but that didn't affect her asthma. And so that's where this came along. So this is the holiday collection. If you see, there's all different collections inside of here. Prelude is one of the favorites, but they all the ones that I've smelled have smelled great.
Yeah. And candles can be something that are like people love candles, but I mean, you've got to be careful with candles. And so having a safe option with a candle is like great. I mean, this is like a super easy gift to give.
Mm-hmm. They also have wax melts as well, which I think is nice too for those that maybe don't want the fire or the candle. They want I know there's some people that prefer the wax melts over an actual candle.
Right. Yeah.
And they have more products than that that you can look into, but we just love their candles.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so we've got Crunchy. So this is both Dr. Bobby and I, we use this makeup and skincare products. And so Crunchy's got all sorts of different options out there. It's all toxin-free, cruelty-free. It's a really solid company with their choices that they have made to put into their products. And it's great for your skin. I use I literally use, their morning time routine, their nighttime routine. All of my makeup is pretty much through them, and it's great. I love it. I don't have any skin irritation or anything like that.
And I love, this is their new exfoliator. And a lot of times when it comes to facial care, if we're not using an exfoliator, it doesn't matter how much lotion and stuff we're putting on our face. If we don't get the dead skin off, that lotion can't be absorbed by that good healthy skin that's underneath, or skin cells, I should say. So this is a very gentle but awesome exfoliator. And I just got it and I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's something like super easy to put in a stocking stuffer or add to. Almost any female would probably like it.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of have, I love their primer and their foundation too. So, I love all their stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us a little bit about this really cool smart mug.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know if other people have this problem. I have a major problem with finishing a cup of coffee when it's still warm. And so I like go to the microwave and I reheat it and I set it down, I start doing something, and then it gets too cold again. And because I like to drink my coffee warm, not piping hot, but like I don't like it
Mhm.
too chilly. And so these mugs are really, really cool. They're called Ember mugs. And there's a heating element inside the mug, and it keeps the temperature of the coffee or tea or whatever it is that you're drinking that's warm at that consistent temperature. So you don't have to like run and reheat it because it's keeping it warm. I would say the one thing is that when it gets a little bit too low, it'll kind of heat it up a little bit too much if you have just a little bit left in the bottom. So you want to turn it off when it gets kind of down to the bottom. But and then it comes in all different like fun colors as well. It is a little bit on the higher price point. It's a little bit over $100. I think the plain white one is probably the least expensive, and then there's the different metallic ones that, I mean, they just kind of are a little bit prettier. So but those ones are a little bit more expensive. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great option.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then Jess, I will let you because I'm trying really hard to get into tea, but it is one of those things that I really want to like because I know it's so good for me, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I like slowly, little by little, I like it more and more. So I'll let you talk about the next two teas because um
Yeah. I mean, so this one I chose because it's a sampler package. So if you've got someone that like, they like tea, but you don't necessarily know what kind of tea they like, or maybe they've kind of said, like Dr. Bobby, like, I'm trying to get into tea, but they don't really know where to start. Getting like a sampler package is great because then they can try all different kinds and see which ones they like versus which ones they don't like as much. And so this one is it's caffeine free, and so that it's a good like afternoon. Like this is one of the things I typically don't drink coffee in the afternoon, but typically have a cup of tea in the afternoon. So I like that it's caffeine free, so then you don't start messing with your REM cycle if you have caffeine too late in the day. So, and then there's like immunity benefits with different types of teas. There's different ingredients in the tea that have different beneficial aspects. That's one of the reasons why I really like matcha, because you get that aspect of the green tea leaf, but then it's all ground down, so it's even a little bit more potent. But not everybody has that like flavor for matcha, so sometimes going with like a tea sampler is going to be a little bit better for somebody that might not want something so specific.
and so speaking of matcha, the other one you brought up
It's matcha.
is this company. Yeah.
Yeah, so this company, again, it's all sustainably harvested, produced, using its matchas, taking those green tea leaves and then grounding into a powder. And then that way your body absorbs more of the nutrients from the tea leaves. And so this is the matcha that I drink, and it's just I like the company, and I like the health benefits of green tea as well. So with immunity support, and plus it's a good way to stay hydrated when you don't want like just another cup of water. I really like a warm cup of tea in the afternoon. So it's great. I do it
So
when I
tell
write.
me, so obviously this is hot. Is it just like a powder that you pour in and mix around?
Yeah. There's a set that you can buy with this that I do have.
Mhm.
And so there's a like a little whisk. And so like you kind of pour pour in the
Is
water,
that
add
this right here?
yeah, yep. Add the water, and then you whisk with that little whisk, and it froths it a little bit. And so it kind of just makes it like a yummier matcha. And then you can add a little bit of milk to it, like if you want to put in a little oat milk or something like that, just to cream it up. Or you could just drink it straight as a tea without any cream in it. It's kind of up to you. But yeah, like kind of like getting that frothiness to it. It just makes it a little bit more special. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. Looks really pretty.
Hmm.
Um, So one of the brands Jess and I have talked about a lot is Skin Foodie, and this shower treatment is amazing. It is. I've never experienced or like tried any product like this before. So basically, you take your shower, normal shower. When you're at the end, you take just like a dime size, just a little bit, and you rub this onto your hands, arms, anywhere that you feel a little dry. And then you just stand under the water and you let the water run on you. You don't wipe it off or anything like that. And then you just pat dry. And I will come out of the shower. A lot of times you come out feeling dry and like you feel like you need to put lotion on. When I come out of the shower, like I feel like it's hard to describe, but my skin is so soft and it feels almost like buttery smooth. I really, really like the shower treatment by Skin Foodie.
Yeah. And this brand, this company as well, again, like they're really good about the ingredients that they use and how they source it. And I use a lot of their products for lotions. They have a deodorant that's really good as well. So they've got all sorts of different options as well. So it's something like if you want to see what other options Skin Foodie has, if that shower treatment isn't what you would want to give somebody, but you know they would like that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure they have those things for the shower. You know, things that you put on the floor of the shower and they kind of like make it smell good. I'm pretty sure they have those.
Oh, okay. Like bath bomb type stuff.
Yeah, but
Shower
for the
bombs.
I don't tell my
And
staff
the
that
other
I
one
got
we
them a
talked
bunch of
about,
stuff up here as for their Christmas gifts. I gotta think when this will air.
well, and speaking of, they also have we like their body butter, which is just
Yes.
like a lotion that you can put on cream afterwards. But yes, you can see over here, they have all types of stuff. They're found on Etsy. Absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
And last but not least is one of my favorite deodorants. I think switching to natural deodorants is the hardest thing. Skin Foodie does have a great one. However, I don't find that it works as well as this one right here. So Primally Pure, their charcoal deodorant is by far probably one of the only ones I will use. I have tried their blue tansy, geranium, lavender, vanilla, and tea tree. I will say the only other one besides charcoal that I would buy again is the vanilla, and that's just because I think my skin is pretty sensitive, and these ones would end up causing a little bit of a rash. But the charcoal, I have never had a problem, and for me, it works fabulously. It's the best one that I've ever had.
And as per Dr. Bobby's recommendation, I also use the charcoal and I love it as well. And I mean, I'm like a sweaty person and run and all that kind of stuff. And when I come home, like nobody's sitting there like trying to run away. So I mean, if it does summer heat with me running, like that's a good deodorant.
Yes. And then last but not least for this episode, let's talk about what we want to do for oh, sorry, hold on, let me come back here. For men. Because I think sometimes they just that self-care can be a little bit harder. And so the first one is this called Dr. Squatch. This is actually a really good brand. They have all sorts of stuff. They have bundles, hair care, deodorant, toothpaste, beard oil, just anything you would need, but it is a cleaner brand. And so one of the things we want to point out is these soap bars. They are excellent, especially if they're working a lot, if they have a job where their hands are getting dirty. This pine tar one is a great exfoliator, and it really helps kind of getting all that grime and grit off. Whereas some of the other, I know my dad's a mechanic, so some of the products they put on their skin are not the best to try to get all of that grease and everything off. So this is just another option out there. And you can see they have all sorts of different scents and just specifically made for guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one thing you can do for bar soap is get a soap saver bag and put the soap in the bag and then hang it in the shower, and the soap will last. Yeah, perfect. You can see it down there at the bottom.
Yep.
The soap will last a lot longer in that bag. Yeah.
So they have both a soap saver and then they have kind of a big one. They also have a soap gripper, which I think is nice because a lot of times they can get slippery. And then there's a travel bag as well, which is what Jess was talking about.
Yep.
And then so the next one is this John Masters Organics. So they have a sculpting clay. They have all sorts of different brands or all sorts of different hair care products, shampoo, And again, it's another clean brand that is just great if you're trying to reduce kind of the toxins in your guy's life. Maybe he's not so interested in it, but you can try out these brands, and maybe he won't even know.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need a forecast that it's also toxin free and all that fun stuff, but just like,
right.
yeah, see if they like it.
Hey,
Yeah, maybe
right,
they're on board.
exactly.
Who knows? Yeah.
I feel like some people, and like girls are the same way. Some are really on board. Some are like, does it really matter? And some are like, no.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
and I think a problem with that is a lot of these are actually products. The ones we're recommending are products that actually perform.
Right.
I think a lot of the hard part is in the toxin free world or reducing your toxins. There are a lot of products out there that do not perform the same and do not provide the same performance as like the other everyday products we're used to.
Right. Yeah. And talking about sustainability is getting away from things that are disposable and getting things that are reusable. And so trying to think about razors. That's another way. If you've got a man in your life that shaves with a razor and doesn't use like a beard trimmer, and typically even guys that use beard trimmers still need a razor to clean up, around where the trimmer doesn't get. So having a good quality razor is something that is just a nice thing to have. And so this is, one that is it uses bamboo wood, which is, like the fastest growing wood that exists. It's really strong. We've got the stainless steel components. So it's kind of checking a lot of those boxes of reusable with performance and, just the ingredients that they're using to make the razor kind of stands behind that toxin-free mindset.
Then, what guy can't use a comfortable slipper around the house?
We're going into winter. It's cold out.
Yeah. I think every guy could use it. And girls too, but kind of especially for those guys.
Yeah. This one has like the bottom of it. It's got like the, some traction. So if they need to like walk outside, take out the garbage, whatever it might be, you're not going to get the bottom of the slipper all nasty. So it's got like it's not meant for like walking around the store by any means, but you can go inside, outside a little bit and it'll hold up.
And then looking at, this is a company called 10 Tree. And the reason it's called 10 Tree is because every time an item is sold, they plant 10 trees. Looking at joggers, I feel like joggers are so comfortable. They can be stylish, but just for that relaxing around the house. And these are all eco-friendly, sustainable, organic, material that they use. And you can see they have all sorts of stuff. They have women's, men's, but looking at men's and the joggers, hoodies, but just some great products. They are out of Canada. But if you click on it, they do free shipping. So you can look, be free shipping on this item.
Yeah. And because it's a jogger, it's that elastic waistband, so you don't have to know their exact size, which is nice. You can kind of ballpark it and probably be right. So that's a little bit easier when you're buying clothes for somebody else.
And then last but not least, we are back to this deodorant. It is not for girls only, it is for guys. I know so many guys that use it and love it. And what's nice is we wanted to show you is, so if you go into their shop and you go into their bundle and save down towards the bottom, there's going to be a trio where you can get 3 of them. And you can pick over here any of the flavors that you want. So you can do all 3 charcoal, you could do all 3 different, you can kind of do what you want from there. But it also saves saves a significant amount of money, a good amount of money when you're buying all 3. So that way you can get one for you, one for your significant other, maybe one for a child or
a teenager.
I know, I was gonna say, like, be careful if you're giving it to a friend, like they might take the wrong hint. You gotta make sure it's the right friend that like really is into like non-toxins and all of that stuff. But
right. Yeah. So that's kind of like wrapping up our different ideas for gifts in these categories. And so the thought is, how do we be intentional about gift giving, but then also still include like what are our values when we give gifts? So like individually, I don't like to give a gift that doesn't really kind of meet my values. I hate buying things that I feel like are supporting an industry that I don't really stand behind. So how can we get both so you feel ethically good about spending money, but then also being mindful about that individual? So that's kind of the big picture here. Now we do have more recommendations coming that will be more for some other categories that we will cover in the next episode. And just like Dr. Bobby said, in the beginning of this episode, is that all of the links are going to be available for you in the episode description. And we'll be doing some posts on our Facebook, Instagram pages that will have these links as well. And so never feel like you have to like, oh no, like I was listening to this and they said something, like just go back to the episode in the description. The link will be right there for you. So don't hesitate to follow us and subscribe to what we are putting out each week. That way you'll never miss an episode. We release every single Sunday, and each episode is meant to kind of talk about that bigger picture of like living a more mindful, wellness-based lifestyle, one small step at a time. And we cover all sorts of different topics. And we do have a group, the Two Gals Insiders group. So if you have interest in kind of being able to join Dr. Bobby and I in a live once a month and have a portal where you have access to actually even more information that is stuff that we find meaningful based on that month topic, then check out our website, two-gals.com, and you can sign up right on there. All right, Dr. Bobby, it was fun.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.